Okay, sometimes we have to um, take a look at subtracting integers. We're still working through 8.2b, where we will use appropriate operations to solve problems involving rational numbers in a problem situation. We will make conjectures, remember what that means, from patterns, a set of examples and non-examples. So before, we just finished adding integers, okay? Now we need to subtract them. Why? Well, so we can find the length of time, balance your checkbook when you become employed, and determine correct temperatures, just to name a few. Okay, so you can use patterns to discover a rule for subtracting integers. This is what we want to do now. So we want to look at the table below. And in the second column, we want to write the answer to the subtraction problem. And we want to use a pattern to find the differences involving negative numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at this particular table that they're asking us to complete. Okay, so we see the subtraction problem, and they're giving us example 3 minus 3, and they say the difference is 0. And an addition problem that's similar to that is 3 plus a negative 3. Okay, now let's take a look working out the second one. So we have 3 minus 2. Well, of course, we know that equals 1. So what could be an addition problem that will give us the same thing? Well, let's try 3 plus a negative 2. Makes sense to me. Let's take a look at the next one. We have 3 minus 1. We know that gives us 2. So what is a problem? Let's try 3 plus a negative 1. Then, of course, we have 3 minus 0. And, of course, that equals 3. So now we could say, let's be careful. Let's be careful. 3 plus 0. Okay, there is no negative or positive 0 here, so just make sure that that's just 3 minus 0, or 3 plus 0. Then we have 3 minus 1, and of course 3 minus a negative 1, we say that equals 4. So how can we make this an addition problem? Well, 3 plus 1. Then we have 3 minus a negative 2. We say that's 5. How can we make this an addition problem? 3 plus 2. And then we have 3 minus a negative 3. We say that's 6. How do we make it an addition problem? 3 plus 3. Okay, so we got something going here. Let's see what. We have looked at subtractions, found the answer, which is we call a difference, and then made that subtraction problem into an addition problem. So now we need to determine what are they trying to get us to do. So let's look at step 3. It asks us to tell how the second number in the addition problems relate to the second number in the subtraction problem. So how do that relate? Let's see. So we see a positive 2 and a negative 2, a positive 1 and a negative 1, 0 and 0, a negative 1 and a positive 1, a negative 2 and a positive 2, and a negative 3 and a positive 3. What is that called? Opposites. So when we look at the second number in the subtraction problem, comparing it to the second number in the addition problem. How do they relate? They are opposites. Okay. They are opposites. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Well, 4 says, describe how to use additions to subtract integers. How do we use addition to subtract these particular integers? So, taking a careful look at what they want us to do. To subtract 2 integers, why not just add the opposite? I wonder will that work. Yeah, if we simply add the opposite of the second integer to the first, we are literally subtracting them. So we want to just simply add the opposite of the second integer to the first. I better write this down because I just may forget. So I want to add the opposite of the second integer add the opposite of the second integer to the first integer. I guess that makes sense. I think it does. Seem like to me that we've just created this rule that we learned 3rd grade that's called same, opposite, opposite. That looks like to me what we've just learned. And what that means, if we take 3 minus 2, that could be converted, and I'm going to change so we can see what the conversion will look like. It just seemed like that to me, that could be converted to same, 3, opposite of subtraction is addition, and the opposite of a positive 2 is a negative 2. Well. Now what we've done is just created the rule for subtracting integers. Then of course we know what the rules of addition is, so we look at this problem and we see that when you're adding with different signs, you just simply take the smallest absolute value, which is a negative 2, and that absolute value is 2, subtract from 3, and you get 1, and use the sign of a greater absolute value. Sounds good. Okay, well, now that you know that, let's go and have some fun with integers.